Alright, so this is just an ad hoc video. Again, the way we do it, man, we just talk. These people that edit the videos, I don't know how they find time. We're going to touch that in this video. But, so we are 9 days in to our South Florida trip, which was kind of like the extent of where we were going to go to. It was kind of the goal. We went in a roundabout way. We kind of went through Nashville and Kentucky and found a cool flea market there and made our way down through the Panhandle just because I always wanted to see it. I wanted to go to Pensacola. The weather there is not good. I wouldn't want to be staying there. Basically, until we reached what's considered South Florida, you wouldn't want to do it in December. Man, forget it. Cold, wet, and rainy, right?
Yeah.
So now that we're this far in, we figured we'd make a video kind of about our trip, kind of about stealth camping, because remember, we're just in a regular van, a 2008 Ford E150. On the outside, it's just all white. Besides the solar panels, which are this high off the roof, and a propane tank on the back, there's nothing on the outside that makes this look like any other. It just looks like any other van. But, so we kind of made a few points of some of the things we wanted to talk about, and I guess rule number one, without trying to be facetious, we just say, whatever you imagined, be ready for it to be different.
Yes, this fanciful idea of everything's going to go perfect and wonderful, and it's a little bit different, it's a little bit more real.
It's more real.
Yeah.
So yeah, without further kicking you in the balls and telling you, oh, gee, like we planned for like the worst. You know, we always have water and food and everything else, but some of the things that we're going to talk about, getting a little bit more detail into some of the things, like the ability to actually stealth camp in South Florida. Oh yeah, sure. Oh man,
Not so easy.
it's nothing like we
No, we thought it was going to be a lot easier, but
We really did, especially with Walmarts. Guess what? Go ahead and look up the Walmarts there's a few sites that say you can look up the no overnight parking Walmarts or whatever, and I think you can find one of the sites that has a map. I think they want to charge you for their app, but basically every Walmart we've seen says no overnight parking. Now that doesn't mean that we haven't overnight parked. Hang on, guy's coming back. All right, man. Thanks. We're just down at Hollywood Beach in South Florida here, and there's some grills built in by the picnic tables over here. We've used them a couple times, and some guy just asked me if I had a lighter and some lighter fluid, so he was just returning that. That was pretty cool. We actually haven't had that many interactions with people.
no, not really.
Yeah, that's one of the things, about this sort of stealth camping. You thought we're going to run into people, but I think when you're stealth camping, especially in South Florida, you got to feel like you're always on the move. And when you're on the move, you're safe. But whenever you stop somewhere,
You never know.
the lights are on. Any of those big lots where there's just not the store big lots, but those giant malls where there's, who knows, like a Walgreens and fitness places and banks and grocery stores or whatever, they're fucking ghost towns at night. So you park in one of those, and you're even if you're in a stealth van, you're stuck out like you're a thumb. You're just this one van in a parking lot.
Unless there's like a 24-hour fitness place, like the Planet Fitness.
Right.
Yeah.
Anywhere there's something 24 hours, you're gonna be better off, because even if you're the only asshole in the parking lot,
Hey, you could be working out.
you could actually be in there working out, or you could be in the Walmart, or you could be in the Publix. But there's something else that we learned too. On Christmas, we tried to grab a Walmart, and the store was closing, even though it's normally a super center and it's normally 7 days a week, 24/7. There were signs on the inner parking lot that said no overnight parking, but I didn't think they maybe didn't apply to us or whatever. But there were a bunch of people. But sure enough, the cops came around. It was like 11 o'clock. He was honking and flashing at everybody. Gonna have to get out of here because Walmart's gonna tow anybody who's there because the store's closed. Basically, if the Walmart closes, you're a sore thumb stuck out in the parking lot. You might get lucky. I understand that the cops, I have a feeling that, they kind of feel like they have better things to do than drive by every big department store or whatever big lot and go, well, that guy might be a stealth camper, but again, you know. But anyway, it was the cop that did pull in and was honking, and it wasn't a honk, it was some sort of whoop with his light or whatever. I opened the door and said, yeah, okay, we know. He says, yeah, they're going to tell everybody. I said, any other options? And he goes, oh yeah, there's basically the same type of parking lot, like right across the road. He's like, oh yeah, well, right across the road, yeah, you probably be fine over there, because Walmart probably called the police and said, look, we're closing for the night, so we're definitely not dealing with any overnight campers, security, whatever they wanted to say. And there were 2 big box trucks, and we just parked between the 2 box trucks, and we were okay that night. But that was Christmas, so we were kind of like, you know,
wasn't prepared for that.
yeah, we weren't prepared. We figured that we could pretty much Walmart stuff, and that's when I started to look it up, and that's when I really started to notice that Walmarts in South Florida. Well, why would? Because they know, like it's usually by city ordinance. It's not the Walmart itself. It says no overnight parking by city ordinance, because the city probably realizes that, well, shit, no one would go to hotels, no one would do anything. They would just swamp department store parking lots or Walmarts.
Yeah.
And stay there. And now, whether Walmart cares or not, if Walmart's like, who cares? Why does the city care? But man, these are the questions that you just never get the answers to, right? A couple things we wanted to point out just about living in a van was getting around each other in the van, and high ceilings are better. We're still more stealth this way. It's a regular size roof on the van. Some other Canadian guy just walked by me today and said his daughter really wants to do this, and she goes, apparently she's looking into a Sprinter.
Oh, yeah.
They must have some money or something, but I said don't let her do it unless there's a high roof. But a Sprinter's cool because they got the high roof, but they still look like a Sprinter. He said, you know, couldn't you put one of those extender roofs up here? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. We got enough leaks anyway, right? But of course, you would have already realized that moving around in a van 2 people is not that easy. But again, the weather really plays into that, because once we got to South Florida, finally, we can just open the doors like we have right now, and it's 80 degrees today, but it's been totally overcast, cloudy, and rainy all day. The weather in December and near the end of December here, and probably for the next month anyway in South Florida, it's warm. You can go in the ocean. Crazy waves. They do put red flags out because there are rip currents. But you go a few feet in, and you start getting a little bit dragged. You know, you go a little bit further than you want. But you can still go swimming. You know, it's great temperature. It's just and then it'll rain every 10 minutes, and then you're starting to get wet, and so that's a little annoying. Plus, if you got solar panels, I mean, we're getting some juice. What are we looking at even right now?
0.9.
We're getting 0.9 amps on the charging
4.4.
from the solar panels. I mean, the max I've ever seen is 8 amps. Which, yeah, man, that's great. The last couple days been sunnier, so we've been getting really good juice. But yeah, when it's overcast and cloudy all day, the most you're going to get is 2 amps of push power into your batteries, and so at night, when you want to depend on it, it could be a little bit less. Which I guess maybe when we're on that, we'll mention the fan. We've got just a little,
You read my mind.
just a little RV fan, just a little. I'm not moving the camera to show you, just one of these fans.
Just a little oscillating fan. It is because we don't have vents anywhere.
Gotta have vents in your van. Oh man, there's some way to move the air around for sure.
Yeah, this helps a lot because we don't have the vents. So
Yeah, my buddy gave it to me, and he's a trucker RVer, and he hit the nail on the head. Without this, I don't know what we do, because when it comes to stealth camping, right, we don't have a vent. Vents also don't make you look all that stealth either, but we can't sit there with our doors open when we decide to go to bed. Never mind the security issue. But man, it gets hot in here. It'll get 30, 31 degrees Celsius in here. 83, 84, 85 degrees, maybe 90 almost. And it sucks for sleeping unless you get one of these fans. Even we're using it right now because it's a bit humid today. But this cuts into our nighttime blowy, which it's rough, man. We've been leaving the passenger window open without regard for security. We've got a spot that we'll talk about in a minute, but that's the only reason why we can do that. Otherwise, you gotta have a fan, man, or a vent. I can see why people got the vents, and they talk about how important they are. It really does change everything when you can open a door.
Yeah, ACs aren't very stealth either. Like if you were to get one of the big van.
Yeah, even if we were to get an AC unit, which leads to another point too, there's no electric anywhere. There's nowhere to plug in. I keep my eyes open. Am I at a McDonald's? Is there a plug on the building or something like that? But there's just nothing for that. And as a matter of fact, the guy that just came back with the lighter fluid, he had come down here with an electric one burner electric, and he had said that usually they have an electric outlet. And I said, oh yeah, that's interesting. But he said, oh, they've turned it off, so he couldn't use it. That's why he needed our flame. So you're not going to get electric, you're not going to get plugged in, you're not going to get AC unless you're at a campground. What else do we got?
Showers.
Showering. Okay, showering. I'm registered on Pilot Flying J as a professional driver. And I think when I signed up, it asked me, do I want to get points or do I want to build shower credits? Okay, and I didn't have to prove I was a professional driver. I just said I was. I am a professional. I do drive truck, but when all my points go to showers. A shower at every Flying J that we've went to is $12. However, if you buy 50 gallons of fuel, any fuel, that's a shower credit. Now, we don't take 50 gallons. We only have a 30-gallon tank. We usually don't run it to empty either, so usually I'm getting about 25 gallons. So 2 fill-ups, and we get a shower. So, which was fine on the way down. We easily would get 2 fill-ups within. If it was a long day, we'd be. You get it. You get the picture, right? So every 50 gallons, you get a free shower, which is a $12 bargain, man. And the showers,
they're awesome.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous, and we both go in.
Yeah, and they give you towels and what you need.
That's true too. They're like, oh, let's get you. Either the one we went to, they already had the towels in there, and the one that we went to the other day, which was a little small one, down in Miami Gardens. By the way, Pilot, once you get past, I don't know,
almost Alabama.
Yeah, when you're coming down the 95, once you're, I don't know, say past Jupiter, forget it. There's no Flying J's. There's a tiny little Pilot Flying J in Miami Gardens. That's it. So I had kind of hoped, that's another thing that we had kind of hoped that, well, we'll just go there. We'll just fill up and we'll just have a shower there every couple days, just like we did on the way down here, which was great, right? But no, they don't have them. And that little Flying J, that's the first time I didn't get points for buying regular. They said, no, you won't get points unless you buy diesel. So, whatever. They had a different set of pumps for the Pilot, and they were all diesel for the trucks, and then it was regular. It would look like a marathon station.
Mobile.
Was it mobile?
Mobile, yeah.
So, we got to use our points. I got to use it. Now, you got to have a shower there. It was just one shower, but it was still a really nice shower. And I didn't get points for it there, so we won't be having that type of shower for a couple more. Once we go wheels up, we'll be able to get a shower on our way home. But as some of the beaches have showers, it's a light
just
shower.
To get the sand off.
It's supposed to just get the sand off. at Dania Beach, which is like one of our favorites, Dania and Hollywood Beach. Man, don't go to, I'm not going to tell you where to go, but Pompano Beach was a zoo, and Miami Beach is a zoo. And right in between, you've got Dania and Hollywood. I'll tell you what, I don't want to attract too many people here because giant parking lots. In Dania, it's $2 an hour to park. Here, it's $10. You get the whole day. You come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, you leave at 6 o'clock at night. And as long as you come prepared, we just spend the whole day here for $10. Okay, so you're still going to spend money. You're not going to find somewhere where you can just spend the whole day.
Yeah.
And it'll kind of become amazing to you. You'll start to realize the security that places have built in when you go to any place, like a McDonald's or even these big department store parking lots that we go to. The hedges are low enough so that when police drive by and the lights are on, they can see who's in the parking lot. So you can't really hide in the parking lot. Maybe you go around the back of the building. I don't know. Maybe there's head office security then that's going to start calling you because now you're acting like a creep. So, yeah, just sitting at a McDonald's all day probably isn't going to work either.
No. Yeah, you got to be moving around a lot more than
we planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, than we planned. I really kind of thought,
Unless
more or
you
less.
find a park like this and and you pay the parking for all day, then that's fine. You know, you got washrooms, you got the beach, you got the barbecues and stuff like that, but you're moving around a lot more.
Way a lot more. I had this idea in my head. I was going to pull up, turn the van sideways, open the side doors. There'd be beach like feet from me. It's not true. There's a parking lot, then there's usually an embankment of trees and stuff, and then a path that goes to the beach. You're still really close to the beach, but you're not like seeing it from
your parking space.
Yeah. And then you got to get out at 6 o'clock, and you got to find somewhere to go for a few hours. Now, a couple other things. You can't find electric anywhere. It is really hard to make these videos. These people that are making these videos with all the production and stuff like that, these people have nothing to worry about. I don't know where they are or what they're doing, but they want to make this life look a little
more glamorized.
Yeah, come on. Yeah.
You don't think about that kind of thing when you're watching the video.
Yeah.
You know, all the power that has to go into it. But when you actually try and do it, and it's kind of like, oh, no.
I remember there was this one couple that did a video on the real life of, and they were still talking about how 6 to 8 hours a day in doing the filming, coming up with what to talk about, editing, and then uploading and stuff. Are you shitting me?
I'm not spending my vacation like that.
No, I'm not either. So we're just gonna, if you don't like this style, well, I'm not trying to get 1 million followers and trying to make a living on this. I'm just gonna have to keep working. We do have water on board with an electric pump. You can fill them up at almost any department store that we've seen. Publix.
Yeah. Outdoor.
I think it was right out front, the front doors. You put the jug in, $2, fills up a 5-gallon jug. $1.75 or whatever. $1.75.
Yeah.
So that's good. You can buy the little green propane tanks for cooking at any place you would normally expect, like a Walmart. I haven't seen many propane filling stations where you go and fill your own tank.
No.
I've seen swaps everywhere, just like anywhere you would ever imagine. You can go up and swap your tank.
Yeah.
I usually feel like when you're doing the swap a tank, I'm sure that they're probably they're jipping you. You know, they say, "Oh, well, we only fill to 80%." Okay, is that still 20 pounds? Because they're 20-pound tanks. You're supposed to have be able to carry 20 pounds of propane in there. So I still haven't figured out the way they measure it. Either like they're weighing it while they're filling it up. When it reaches minus your tare weight, minus the weight of the tank, which is usually around 16 pounds. So when the thing gets to 36 pounds, okay, it should that's when they should turn it off. But
I don't think that's what they do.
So I play a little stupid. I go, I'm kind of new to this, or I'll say something like, "Hey, I need it for my heater." You know, we haven't needed the heater in Florida. We took the heater and put it in the back, but we'll need it when we go back home. But play a little stupid. Ask them. Say, how does this work? How do I know you're filling? Because then if they go, well, we only fill it to 80%. I don't know if filling it to how do you know it's 80% full?
The weight, I guess.
Or is he saying we only fill it to 80% of its 20-pound capacity? Well, then you're not getting 20 pounds. And if I'm a crook and I'm a propane guy, hey man, instead of, I don't know, even if that's 17 or 15 or 16 pounds, well, why don't I put 14 in and still charge you
for the same price
for the full?
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
keep your eye on the propane, man. I can't stress enough. We haven't used any for heat. We've just got the little green ones for cooking. One green thing is lasting us like a week for cooking.
Yeah, and most parks that you come across, they have a closing time. Unless it's like, you know, like a child's park where kids play baseball and there's an open field and all that kind of stuff. But if there's like this Hollywood park, they close at 6, right?
Yep.
And there's the other one closes at midnight. Dania Beach closes at midnight.
Dania Beach closes at midnight because there's like a restaurant there. There's a bar grill there, so they stay open. They allow people to go down there because they're going to the pier, which has a restaurant attached to it. But at Hollywood Beach here, it closes at basically sunset. So right now, it closes at 6 during daylight savings time. In the summer, they close at 7:30. But as mentioned before, in Dania, it's $2 an hour. Here, it's $10 for the whole day. If you show up at 2 or after, or even a few minutes before, they charge you $6 because you're not quite getting the whole day. But otherwise, when you show up, it's $10. After 2, it's $6. So we've been choosing that option instead of just feeding a machine. We just pay them $10 at the entrance, and we come in and we get to spend as much time as we want here. It's 4 o'clock right now. We'll have a couple more hours. When did we pull in?
11?
Probably something like that. We had found, just by driving by here at 8, realizing it was a couple minutes before 8, the gate was still closed. Just slightly north of this place, it was called North Hollywood Beach Green, and those gates were open, and we didn't see any pay meters, although there's a sign that says something like download the parking app or something, but there was
don't know what that is.
So we hung out there for a couple hours, so that's kind of neat. Like,
yeah, there's no beach access there.
No beach.
It's the waterway for the boats.
The intercoastal's there.
Yeah, but it was still nice and quiet, and
no one else around.
No.
One of them has a bathroom, the other one doesn't, but it has this little beachy area that's kind of rocked in, but you can kind of still get into the water, maybe up to your...
Yeah, it's about the length of a van. The beach, it's not that big. Yeah.
So we went there this morning. That's where we basically had some breakfast and had some coffee and used our portable toilet. You better have a portable toilet. If you think you're going to be able to manage without a portable toilet, you're nuts. You're nuts. And it's not just the emergency middle of the night. It becomes your regular toilet for all intents and purposes. So yeah, get some kitchen catchers and your Reliance toilet from Amazon, and yeah, and touch it, love it, keep it close, keep it loaded with a bag at all times. Couple of places we've stayed. Oh, so we've got a fridge. We got one of these. We got a Dometic fridge from an old pop-up camper. It's completely manual, so we have to hold down a button, light it until it like stays lit, and then we let go, and it's supposed to stay lit. It doesn't. So I think I have a problem with the thermocouple, but I highly recommend, if you're going to get a fridge, and I don't know if you can get an automatic one in that small size. It's just the littlest one I could find. But the automatic ones, if they detect the flame out, it'll spark to try and light it again. Not this one. We got to pull it out and like hold it down. We've just given up. And the cooler that I've been sitting on, we've just decided to use that as our fridge right now. It's $2 for a 10-pound bag of ice down here, which is good. It's a hell of a lot better than back home. And so it's basically $4 every 2 days at most. I've got there's still, we bought some yesterday. There's still some ice in there, so we're probably good till tomorrow. But still, it's a lot of water right now.
Yeah, so what we're using the fridge for is for like breads and things you don't really want to get wet. And
it's really just storage, and it is a little bit cooler than outside. So, yeah. But so put your eggs in there if you want. Don't store your milk in there. Put your condiments in there if you have the same situation as us. Otherwise, get one of those automatic fridges that'll just keep lighting itself. I think I need a new thermocouple for mine, and so instead of just throwing it out in the road like I had thought about, I don't know, it's still serving some purpose for us, so it's okay.
Anything else on our agenda?
Yeah. Once we got done, this much time in a van, you start to think maybe a hotel would be nice for the night. Well, this is South Florida we're talking about here, so there's really no deals. I mean, there's a hostel that's like $60 or something like that. They don't even provide parking, so I was just like, wow. I've been recommended an app called Hotels Tonight. I've looked at it. There's nothing like less than $70, and then it says plus another $30 or whatever, some sort of taxes and fees,
and then parking,
and then some of them even have to park. So it's just kind of like, okay, so that's still $100 a night. That's US. We're Canadian. That's $135 for a dump. So we're like, oh. One of the places you might not have thought about to stealth camp at, even if you go to freecampsites.net, but we've found a Cabela's. I think it was mentioned on there, but freecampsites.net. Look that up. But Cabela's, we didn't ever even heard of it. We don't got that in Canada, but it's like a sporting goods store.
It's like a Bass Pro Shop.
Okay, a giant Bass Pro Shop sort of thing. Parked there, no problem. When we were frustrated with the Walmart situation just a few days ago, we drove a little bit further and we went to a Cracker Barrel. No problem there. Stay at truck stops when you can. Pilot, Flying J's, or Loves. I mean,
oh yeah, they're great.
They're great. You can, if you get a Wi-Fi booster like I got, like the Alpha with the nice like 7 decibel gain antenna. You can pick up, even at the back of the parking lot, you can pick up their Wi-Fi. Speaking about Wi-Fi, this thing has been an absolute lifesaver. This is a phone. It's a ZTE phone from Visible Wireless. We saw somebody else talk about it in another video, and unbelievable, beautiful phone, $20, and it's through Verizon, but it's a new, they call it Visible, and they have no stores, and that's how they charge you. It's $40 a month, flat rate, unlimited internet. It truly has been unlimited internet. The very most time, even when we have one bar, it might crawl a little bit when we're trying to get internet, but there has been very rarely have we been out of internet.
Yeah, every day we've had internet.
I originally thought I was gonna have to be going to like McDonald's, and like downloading whatever I wanted for the day or whatever. No, I've just given up on all that. This Visible Wireless does it.
And if you know Ben without internet is not good.
Ben, yeah. I don't know what's more important, with beer or internet. Like without one of them, I'm just gonna like, life is not worth living. One of the neat things that was pointed out in that other video, I forget what, I wish I could give credit, whatever, look up internet on the road or something like that. When you use the Visible Wireless phone, you have full speed internet. When you use it as a hotspot, you can only connect one device to it. So like her phone, for example, can connect to this one. And it limits the connected device to 5 megabits per second download. Now, we haven't even quite, she doesn't even get that. But there's a way around that. You buy a nano router. This is a router like the one you have at home, except it's nano, i.e. small. And you use that to connect to your visible wireless phone. And it looks like only one device is connected. Because, oh, that's another thing. You're only allowed like one device connected to it at a time. So, we did one time connect two and it seemed to work, but...
No, it didn't.
No, it didn't?
No, it didn't. I couldn't get anything.
Anyway, so they're working out the rules, I guess, because I hear it's changed, but 5 megabytes per second, you're still unlimited with the amount of data, but one device at 5 megabytes per second. Well, megabits per second. You connect this device, that's the one device that the phone sees. Now it's a router. It takes that internet, it spreads it to whatever you want. So my other phone, her phone, my laptop can all connect to this, well, my nano router. We're still got the 5 megabit per second limit, but we all have internet now. So yeah. So wait a minute. Cabela's, parking, Flying J's, Walmart. Good luck in South Florida. Planet Fitness. Okay, they all closed on Christmas too. So again, if you want to be stealth and camp at a Planet Fitness, or any fitness place that's supposed to be open 24/7, 365. If they do close, you're kind of going to stick out like a sore thumb. So you probably want to be aware of that.
And our friend Sarah.
Right. All these places. Like we mentioned, the main beaches, they all have parking fees. They'll say the beach is free. They'll say it's free. Yeah, except for parking. There'll be anywhere from $2, $2.75, I think it was at Pompano for an hour.
I think so.
Hollywood, $10 for the day. They have closing times, no overnight parking. One of the things we discovered, community parks. Look them up. There might be a community pool. We found one that was, I think it was like North Hollywood, almost at sunrise. It was called Jefferson Park. Really nice park. They got picnic tables and stuff, no grills. But we just pulled up along the side. They have bathrooms that were open. And we just hung out there in the park and cooked in the van, and that's what we did there. And then to talk about our lucky spot, so we just happened to pull into this one laundromat that we needed. I don't want to tell you where it is and blow the whole thing.
Anywho.
But right next to it was this little hut building, and it was all closed and boarded up with these two strip sort of parking lots right behind it. So we asked the manager at the laundromat, said, look, hey, we're looking for a place to just like stay for the night. She said, well, you can take my spot at 11 and I'll just tell the night manager to not bother you for the night or whatever. But I was like, well, what about the lot like right it's like right next to it? She says, well, I think that's by that shop and it's closed right now, but who knows. But so that's what we decided to do. And that's become our sweet spot. It's right beside this laundromat. We pull in there. Nobody comes in that parking lot. There's a little shop that somebody's planning on opening. It says like coming soon. But so far there's nothing. We've been parking just in the back on the dark by this dumpster, which allows us to kind of open the doors for until we go to bed. I'll leave the one window open. We'll put the fan on, and that's where we've been crashing. That's where we're going to crash tonight. So.
Yeah, that's great. That was a great find.
Yeah.
Because it takes us, 15 minutes to get down to the beach after that? Like in the morning?
Yeah, it's just up the road. It's just on Federal, Highway 1. And not like we have a lot of viewers on our channel or something like that, but right across the street there's a bar called The Lamp Post.
I thought you weren't going to give out the location.
It's not like I have a million people watching me that are all of a sudden going to flood the place. But yeah, cheers to Sarah. Maybe not her real name, but for letting us stay there.
That's been a blessing.
And you know what? As a Canadian on EI, I want to point out a little bit something here. It says if you just go to their general website, the rules say that you're generally not allowed to get EI when you're outside of Canada. And that kind of pissed me off, and it sounded a little suspicious. So I looked up the actual Employment Insurance Act, and Section 55, subsection 6, it's kind of wordy, but it basically says you're not disentitled from receiving benefits solely for the reason of residing outside of Canada. And there's a couple stipulations. As long as you're in a contiguous zone. That means I can't be in Hawaii or Alaska. It has to be joined to Canada. So the land mass, even in Florida, we're still generally joined to Canada. You're supposed to be able to get back. You've got to keep applying for jobs. So you always have to do that on EI. But you're supposed to be able to get back within 48 hours. Well, South Florida is a 22-hour drive. I'm a truck driver. That's 2 10-hour days. You could even break it up in 48 hours if they said you got to come back right now. I could go 8 and 8 and 16. Well, whatever. I'd be back there within a reasonable amount of time. And it also says that you must have made yourself basically available should that call arise. So that visible phone again came, like, we've got a US number, but I gave it to my employer because I'm just temporarily laid off while things are slow. And I've kept in contact with them and said, hey, when are you looking? He says, oh, well, we're looking at the new year. Okay, well, he can call me. And he could go, hey, we can start you on Monday, and I can go wheels up, and I can get there. However, just for the fact that you click that you're outside of Canada, the computer automatically doesn't pay you for that week, okay? So, you can fight it. I'm going to do that because I'm not getting paid for this week. We got paid for the week. They always do it in 2-week blocks. The 1 week I was in Canada, the next week we left. And so it flags me as no for this second week. So that kind of plan for that. I'm gonna have to fill out this form, and I'm gonna have to send it in. And you know, they usually only excuse you for like funerals or a bona fide job search. I can't work in the States, so it's not a bona fide job search. What I'm claiming is hardship. I don't have a place to live. We were evicted. Not because we were assholes. I'm not getting into the story. It's just like when a landlord wants his house back, he can get it back. So we went, okay, well, we looked for places, but we wanted to do this too. So we spent 3 weeks living in a van in Canada. We were going through 20 pounds of propane every 3 days. It's cold. We were making it, but it was cold. So hardship is what I'm claiming. That we didn't have a place to live, and it's freezing cold, and we needed to get someplace warm. And these aren't lies; they're the truth. But they're not asking you about that. You know, they'll let you go on compassion leave, I guess. But where's the compassion for we're in a van freezing? You know, some jerk somewhere right now watching this is thinking, well, why don't you just find a place to live? Not that easy all the time. And so you can call it a vacation. I call it survival. But just be prepared to that EI is going to say no for the time that you are away. There's no way around it. The computer is automatically going to flag you. The only way that you'll get paid for it is it takes a month. Apparently you have to fill out this form. You have to send it in. Then they get it. And it takes a month for them to reconsider and review, and based on the circumstances, whether they should pay you or not. So just have enough savings, which we did. We planned on that. So, but it is going to cut our trip a little bit shorter because there was that hope. Because if it was going to come, well then, okay, we got another week or so to stay because she's got to be back in Canada for a cancer treatment on January 22nd. So we still would have had another week or two to survive. But it's like when is it? They can call it a vacation. Why is it a vacation? Why? Because it's warm and I have my shirt off. Wait. If I'm in Welland and I'm not working, but I'm still looking for jobs, but I'm cold, that's not a vacation. But because I'm in the United States, in Florida, well, I must be on vacation then. It's like, it's not as easy as they think. They're not going to watch this video. And it's not that easy. It's not like we're partying. Oh, but you're drinking beer. It's like, really? Like, when did Canada get so bent out of shape about alcohol, man? The world's gone fucking clown world, man. It's crazy. Guy's having a beer with his shirt off. He must be on vacation. Anyway, we're just checking in on you. So we're gonna be going wheels up on Friday. But we had Christmas down here. We're gonna have some New Year's down here, and then we'll go back and
survive in the cold.
And we'll make it. Anyway. Cheers. Oh, go to the Miami Zoo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was fun. No, not vacation type fun. But it was
educational.
It was a distraction from the near-death experience that we're having. Good night.